Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. And guess what? I got a few books signed. Yeah, over the course of the past week, I've got to meet two individuals in which that I've grown a small relationship with, in the sense of over the course of the past, God, I want to say now 8 years, um, roughly, with both these individuals. I went from just a big fan to, we sit and actually have conversations that go well beyond just regular comic books and storylines and things like that, heart to hearts, families, life, bills. And this has been really cool because both these individuals that I'll be talking about mean a lot to me just as people. And that's what, a lot of my collecting has got to is beyond the stories and the art that I like to get these things signed by. Many a times I get my stuff signed by individuals that I appreciate, not only as writers or artists, but many times as individuals of who they are, what they try to do in the industry, and how they've been able to either express themselves or been able to take a character where they believe the character was kind of meant to go, or after talking with the origin individuals of these characters, really try to pay a true respect to where these characters came from, their true origin status, and where they believe and or were kind of either inspired or told directly by some of these origin creators, how this character should go. Now, beyond just me continuously speaking, I do want to go ahead and show you a book or two, but I do want to go ahead and say to those of you that cruise on through, I appreciate you. I truly do. I want to just make a quick acknowledgement and mention that, hey, for you, the cruise on the rewind, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And yeah, just want to say, hey. Now, to start off, I do want to start by saying I met this individual, Zach Kaplan, many years ago on my sister channel that I do with my son, 1-2 Comic Talk. You'll see that pillow right there. Um, he was one of probably the first 10 people that I interviewed, and I I just I really hit it off with the individual. We really had really deep conversations, and he also gave me an understanding and an appreciation for writing and the individuals in the industry that I didn't have before. And yeah, Zach Kaplan not only writes some cool stories, but he really truly understands where the industry is at the moment, where he believes it's heading, how things have changed over the years, and how he's been changing not only his approach to, how he speaks to potential, interests of his stories, but how things have just evolved over time, and I got to see that over the course of what little time I got to know him. Now I've bought many of books from him, and then this is the second volume of Kill All Immortals, and there's something about his writing that I resonate with. The words just seem easy for me to pick up and really easy for me to digest the understanding and meaning of what he's trying to get across as a plot, storyline, and a setup for an overall. I think a lot of writers, what they're trying to do, especially when they're given these 3, 4, 6 issue series, is you not only want to do a great setup, but you really want to stick that landing. Overall, I think many people are going to not only appreciate the art and the accompaniment, obviously the wording and the storyline that sets up everything, but how well was that story told to its end? How well did it leave that reader feeling about what they read? Now, they don't have to be happy, sad, indifferent, or whatever. It just has to not only have some coherent message, but one in which that it seems to really hit its poignant meaning at that ending, whatever it's supposed to be. Zach seems to do that. I'm just saying, and I like his writing. I like what he does, and I like him as a person. So, yeah, I keep digging what he writes, and I keep picking it up, and I keep just kind of writing into him. Which this was another one of those occasions. I ended up seeing Zach Kaplan just by chance. He was at Pulp Fiction Comics in Culver City. Highly recommend them. I greatly appreciate them, and I did not expect him to be there. I have other books I would love for him to sign. It just so happened he was there. I just so happened I was picking up books. Hey, serendipitous. I'm just saying. So, yeah, Zach, if you're watching, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do in the industry. And, yeah, I look forward to more stories and look forward to jumping in this book. Now, also, what I ended up seeing last week was Juan Gedeon over at Comic Bug. Now, this isn't for me kind of an origin story of my own, in which this is my younger brother ended up getting me back into comics by soliciting me to cruise over to the Bug and just offer certain information that I had. He always looked at me as an individual that kind of database, where I just had certain information, and it just so happens that when he was able to ask certain questions, just so happens I had that answer at the time. So, yeah, I guess that also was a little over around 8 years ago, 9, that my son was doing Dungeons and Dragons over at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. There's a place called Game Hug that co-joins with them, and it works alongside. My point being, my younger brother was the dungeon master of that. My son was interested. He was playing in that. On Wednesdays, I'd pick him up. Wednesday is not a good day to just pick somebody up if you're an ex-comic book collector. So I started collecting. Juan was one of those first individuals I ended up meeting in what they call the Sketchy Bug group. They're a bug. Something's getting crazy with a horn out there. Sorry. Yeah, I guess they're just trying to get someone's attention, and I think they're not quite doing the job they were hoping to do. Now, Juan Gedeon, as I made mention, he was one of the first artists I ended up meeting inside the Sketchy Bug group. He was a really approachable individual, and I was really digging what he was doing as far as art. He was doing some wild creatures and things that I've not really, seen before, just hybrid stuff, fantasy type stuff. Also, he was really into a lot of the Venom and all that Spider-Man type stuff. So was I. It just so happened a lot of the same stuff that he was just drawing in front of me. It was the same stuff that I was into. It was some years later that he was not only doing a lot of works that I was end up not then buying, but yeah, I just, it was easy to have conversations with him and kind of, just talk about the days of yore over at the Sketchy Bug. And it was just kind of, I don't know, great to see him again. It's been some time, almost a year in which that I've seen him. So I had him signed, pretty much got myself all updated. I have so many of his books, pretty much all the works that he's almost ever done, at least half of his stuff. And yeah, I just had to finalize and get some more. So starting off now, there's a resurgence in some stuff, and we've been seeing it. Space Ghost, Herculoids, Speed Racer, also Street Sharks, and that's its own universe. So Street Sharks, and I'm trying to remember the other one. It escapes me at the moment. However, of that same kind of universe and stuff from Oni Press, they've been pushing this series, which is Cowboys of Mumessa. That was I think a cartoon, short-lived, but also was comic book back in the late 80s, early 90s, along with Street Sharks. And I'm trying to remember again, it was almost there. I almost had it. A bunch of other stories that were out at the time, and they're all resurfacing, coming back. One's contribution, I end up getting 2. I love the cover A, but hey, why not get the version of it if you can? So I got these. I look forward to not only jumping in the series, which I won't touch these variants. I will get the regular ongoing series or the mini. It's going to be very shortly. And yeah, I just, along with Street Sharks that I end up picking up and a few other things that I've been getting of late that take me back to days of yore, that I've been digging it. So again, the whole Cowboys and Mumessa, this is so cool. The art is really, wow, it is awesome. It just jumps at you. Every panel seems just so action filled, and it's even though it's, yes, there's stills, it seems like it's always in motion. It's very kinetic and it's very just amazing. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. Also, while I was there, Juan not only just told me about some of the projects and what's that he was working in the past, but he did touch on some of the stuff that he's working on coming up. However, because of NDAs, and he knows me, I wouldn't disclose anything, to the masses that he wouldn't allow me to. Excuse me. I did make mention that, hey, look, I told people I wet the whistle of everyone out there, letting them know that, yes, look forward to not only after this work, so the Cowboys and Mumessa, to complete shortly after, a few months after his project that he will be working on. And I'm hoping, like I told him, that he'd do some writing pretty soon. That will be launching. Now, what that means is more than likely in the probably February, January. No, probably February or March of next year is when we will start seeing solicitations for this book that will be, done by Juan and written by someone else. Hopefully it'll be co-written by Juan. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm not only looking forward to that, but it allowed me to go ahead and just find out what he's been up to, what he's been doing, and to have him sign the rest of my books. He did tell me that he was going to go to LA Comic-Con. I did make mention that I wouldn't have the affordability and the luxury of time and just life to be able to go. But I did tell him, that have fun. Summer regards to everybody. And, hopefully I'll be able to go next year. He also signed the rest of my Venom stuff. These were the last two books. Because I think I went crazy on this. I think there's like 4 of these I got. I don't know. But yeah, so that was these Venoms. And then I had him sign off on all my Thor stuff that he did. That last little bit run that was going on, starting with 32. Then he did 33. He did 34. Oh, I had it right. And I had him sign 35, which this actually is my favorite of all the covers. And as far as interior arts are really cool too. On this one in particular, he got to spend more time. And then the last, I had him sign my last one of these. Now, as I made mention, he did say look forward to stuff that he's going to be doing next year, basically first quarter. He did make mention that it seemed like there were some nibbles at some of the things that he was soliciting. I asked him, like I made, stated earlier, that he started possibly dabbling into some writing. I would like to see him do some self-published things. I got to see him collaborate with individuals that, as I may mention, Sketchy Bug, and the way he worked with people and the way they were able to produce. I just know that he can do some writing and produce some cool art that would accompany it on its own. I would just love to see it. I'm hoping to see it next year. Maybe I end up striking that bug in him, but hey, who knows? Now, hey, to those of you that cruise on through, I appreciate you. I truly do. I end up showing you roughly around 8 books, 9 books. I really didn't count. But those are the books that I end up getting signed not only on this Wednesday by Zach Kaplan to the new volume of Kill All Immortals, which company's the one that just finished, about 3 months ago. Great book if you're into that kind of, it's a hardcore battle, almost like barbarian style. Really cool. Real just, awesome in the conflict and the battle stuff. The art's awesome. I just can't. And the story, well, hey, they wouldn't have picked them up for a second volume if it wasn't a cool storyline. And then along with Juan basically signing the rest of my books and the new book that it just came out, The Cowboys Mu Mesa, I wish him all the best luck on not only finishing that out, which he probably will be finishing out his work in the next month. I believe it's only a 4-issue mini, and all his future endeavors. And again, to those of you that cruise on through, I appreciate you. And that's it for me, Entropy. You stay well. Take care.